The beast that devoured armies rolled over like a puppy when the human called its name. The Zephyrian High Command had seen many horrors across the galaxy. They had witnessed civilizations crumble beneath plasma bombardments, watched entire species flee before the advancing swarm of the Vectar, and observed the cold efficiency of machine empires strip mining worlds down to their cores. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared them for the sight currently displayed on their tactical screens. Commander Vexhi's secondary hearts nearly stopped as he watched the impossible unfold. The Devour-class Titan, designation Maw, of Oblivion, was rolling. Not the desperate death throes of a mortally wounded beast, but the playful, belly-exposing roll of a domesticated creature seeking attention. "Replay the footage," Vexhi commanded, his voice barely above a whisper. The holographic display flickered to life once more. There it was, the same monster that had consumed the entire 7th Fleet of Proxima just 3 cycles ago. Its biometallic hide gleamed with the same predatory sheen. Its massive maw still dripped with the same acidic saliva that could melt through titanium hull plating. The creature stretched nearly 2 kilometers from snout to tail, with razor-sharp appendages that had shredded through battlecruisers like paper. And there, standing no more than 50 meters from its massive head, was a human. Not just any human. This one appeared to be completely unarmed, wearing nothing but simple civilian clothing and what looked like a worn leather collar in one hand. The creature's massive eye, each one the size of a small shuttle, focused on the diminutive figure with an intensity that should have reduced any living being to a quivering mass of terror. Instead, the human raised his hand and called out in a voice that somehow carried across the vacuum of space through their comm systems. "Rex, there you are, boy. I've been looking everywhere for you." What happened next would be discussed in xenobiology textbooks for centuries to come. The Maw of Oblivion, the same creature that had single-handedly devastated 3 star systems, began to emit a sound, not the bone-chilling roar that had preceded the annihilation of countless fleets, but something else entirely, something that their universal translators struggled to process before finally settling on the descriptor: excited whimpering. The massive beast rolled over completely, exposing its armored belly to the human. Its enormous tail, previously used as a weapon capable of shattering moons, began to wag with enough force to create gravitational disturbances. "By the 7 suns," breathed Navigation Officer Krelta. It's acting like a pet." The human approached the creature without hesitation, reaching up to scratch behind one of its house-sized auditory organs. The creature's leg, which had previously kicked asteroids out of orbit during combat maneuvers, began to twitch in apparent bliss. "Who's a good boy? Who's the goodest boy in the whole galaxy?" The human cooed, his voice somehow radiating pure affection. Yes, you are, Rex." Commander Vexhi felt his worldview crumbling. The Zephyrian Empire had mobilized 3 full armadas to deal with this threat. They had prepared planet-killer weapons, called in favors from the crystalline hierarchy, and even considered desperate measures like awakening the ancient sleepers, all to face a creature that was now receiving belly rubs from a lone human. "Sir," came the trembling voice of his communications officer, "we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel." "Put it through," Vexhi managed. The main screen flickered, revealing the interior of what appeared to be a modest civilian transport. A middle-aged human woman appeared, looking harried and apologetic. "Hello, this is Dr. Sarah Chen aboard the research vessel Lucky Strike," she said, running a hand through her graying hair. "I want to apologize for any inconvenience Rex may have caused. We were transporting him to the Galactic Preserve for extinct megafauna when our containment systems malfunctioned during a hyperspace jump." Vexhi stared. "Containment systems?" "Oh yes," Dr. Chen continued cheerfully. "Rex here is the last of his kind. We've been rehabilitating him after his species was declared extinct following the Great War of the Forgotten Age. Turns out they weren't naturally aggressive at all. They were just suffering from severe trauma and separation anxiety. A few centuries of proper care and behavioral therapy worked wonders." On the tactical screen, Rex had now flipped back over and was nuzzling the human man with his massive head. The same head that their intelligence reports claimed could bite through a dreadnought's armor. "The man out there?" Vexhi asked weakly. He's your handler? Oh, that's Tom, our xenobiologist. Rex imprinted on him during the rehabilitation process. You should see them play fetch, though we have to be careful about which asteroids we use. As if to demonstrate the point, Rex suddenly perked up, his, massive head swiveling toward something in the distance. Tom followed his gaze and then reached into his pocket, producing what looked like a standard metallic sphere. "Want to play fetch, boy?" Tom called out. Rex's tail wagging intensified to the point where nearby space debris began orbiting around it. Tom wound up and hurled the sphere with impressive force for a human. Rex launched himself after it with the same devastating speed that had allowed him to catch fleeing starships. But now his movements were filled with pure joy rather than predatory intent. "We've been tracking Rex for 3 days," Dr. Chen continued. "I hope he didn't cause too much trouble. He's usually very well behaved, but he gets excited when he's away from home for too long." Vexhai thought of the 3 armadas currently positioned around the system, the planet-killer weapons charging in nearby sectors, and the diplomatic crisis this had nearly caused with 17 different species. No trouble at all. He lied smoothly. As Rex returned with his prize, dropping it gently at Tom's feet before sitting in a position that somehow managed to look dignified despite his massive size, Vexhai made a mental note to update the Galactic Threat Assessment database. Sometimes, he reflected, the most dangerous creatures in the universe simply needed someone to call them by name. And sometimes the most terrifying force in the galaxy was a human's inexplicable ability to turn anything, absolutely anything, into a pet.